Okay, so we are going to rewatch the videos from distance learning so that we can do a distance learning review and just kind of tie it all up and answer questions, since a lot of people feel like they're still, like, whatever we learned is still not really making sense. So we're going to kind of summarize that before we move on to make sure that we're all kind of on the same page. We did not, just so you know, we did not start at the beginning of this unit because we have already done some of this unit before. Okay, so we are starting with 2.3, and we're going to watch that while I answer Helen.
So today's goals, I can find missing information in proportional relationship using a table, and I can find the constant proportionality from the information given in a table.
Okay, pause this video. Oh, did I really just get rid of the whole thing?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, sorry guys.
How can you have triple layer protection? That feels like
Okay, that's why.
This lesson, we're going
So,
to learn some more
let's
about
write down
constant
Unit 2,
proportionality.
Lesson 7.
So today's goals, I can find missing information in a proportional relationship using a table, and I can find the constant proportionality from the information given in a table.
Pause there.
What are we writing now?
Let me get to
Unit
it.
2, Lesson 7.
Unit 2, Lesson 7. Okay, and these videos tell you what the goal is. Our goal has to do with information on proportional relationship using a table. Okay, so we're going to write that down. And the other thing she says is that we're going to find the constant of proportionality. Okay? Proportionality. Gosh, that's a big word. Okay. Sorry, guys. Do we know what these things are? A proportional relationship. Okay. Do we know what a constant of proportionality is? Yeah? How many of you feel like they kind of understand it, you couldn't explain it, but yeah, you kind of get it? How many of you are like, I have no idea what this is talking about? Okay, so if you were watching this video on your own, two things you could do is one, pause, look it up, but you're going to have that definition completely out of context, okay? So you might, and I would do this, watch the video, because chances are your teacher has already gone over this, so it might just, I wouldn't just give it to you new unless it's going to be explained very well in the video. So we'll just trust right now that it might come back to us, or it's going to be explained in the video. And if it's not, then we can go back and look it up. You may want to like put a star by it, indicate somehow like, I'm not sure what this is, but I'm going to have to figure it out and go back, okay? Like, this is the main idea, and this is what we should be focusing on, and by the end of the video, I should be able to do this. Does that make sense? Okay.
The constant proportionality from the information given in a table. So there's a proportional relationship when you look at any volume measured analysis, and that same volume measured
Okay, so she just talked about proportional relationship, right? So 8 ounces to 1 cup. That's a proportional relationship. It's all, for each amount is always another amount, so 8 to 1. What other proportional relationships have we talked about in class? Maybe. When you did your scaled up, when you did the cartoon picture, 1.5 inches on your paper was 3 inches on the bigger paper. Does that, remember that? We talked about, in Mr. Hale's class, we've talked about the scales of a map. 1 inch is a mile or something like that. Okay. So, if you feel like you need to copy this whole thing down, you can, or we can just write what information is new to you. If we have one volume, if we have 1 cup, how many ounces do we have? 8. If we have 2 cups, how many ounces do we have? Okay. 4 cups.
That's 5.
It's going to be 5 cups. It's going to be 40 ounces. What are we doing here? Multiplying it by 8. Each time we're multiplying it by 8, right? 8.5
68.
times 5 would be 8.
Oh wait, yeah,
64 plus 4 is 68.
yeah.
Okay, so you have a table, proportional relationship. Any guesses what the proportional relationship is? Okay. That's
Table looks like this. Using that information in your table, what is the constant proportionality? So remember that this constant proportionality, it tells you the relationship between these variables. When you multiply,
the constant of proportionality tells you the relationship between the variables. How much bigger or smaller it is. So you might want to write that down. The relationship between the variables. Everyone about ready?
the numbers in the first column bind to get those values in the second column. You determined it was 8 because the number of cups times 8 equals the number of ounces. You can always divide to get that constant proportionality. Right, now I'd like you to look the other direction. If I give you the volume in ounces, can you give me the volume in cups?
What are we going to be doing here?
This
Divide.
We're dividing by 8.
All right, I hope it looks like this. 1, 3, 4.5, 6.25. It's fine.
Give me a thumbs up if you're with me. Anyone need to pause to kind of,
the constant proportionality in this case.
what's the relationship? What's the
I hope
constant?
that you answered. Okay, I hope that you answered that the constant proportionality is 1/8. It's the proportionality.
Oh,
You
what
can
did I
just-
do?
You can just click the video too.
The video.
Pause it.
Just click the screen.
Oh,
So today's goal
Well, you don't have to click there. You can just.
you know what? We're just gonna do it the old lady way.
to get that. Take a few moments and complete.
So you're saying I can just click the screen?
Yeah,
When you
click
find the
the
constant proportionality.
like anything else.
Okay, I hope that you answered.
Like
Okay,
Chrome.
You guys are so smart. Okay.
I mean, you
Thank
did
you.
before.
I know, but I wasn't paying attention. So, most of you divided by 8 to get there, right? Okay. But the constant of proportionality is what you multiply by. So dividing by 8 is the same thing as multiplying by 1/8. Okay? So when you're finding the constant of proportionality, it's what you multiply by. You should write this down. what you multiply by. So instead of saying divide by 8, we're not going to say what you're dividing by, what you're multiplying by. You need to multiply by 1 over 8. Okay? Does that make sense? Take a minute and tell someone near you that the constant isn't what you divide by, the constant is what you multiply by.
Constant is what you divide by, the constant multiply by.
There you go.
Yeah.
Math. Okay. Did you just say math sucks or math is sus?
Math stuff.
Oh, that makes me sad.
You said
I did. I said math stuff.
You could also say you're going to multiply by 0.125 because 0.125 is the decimal.
complicated, just use one hand.
That's what I'm saying. But some people see in decimals better.
So, fill in these blanks. To convert from cups to ounces, you can multiply by what?
What is it?
And to get from ounces to cups, you can divide by a certain number or multiply it by something else. But fill in your blanks.
Multiply by 180.
Beautiful.
So you come up with,
Eight.
go from cups to ounces, you
Yes.
8, 1 8.
ounces to cups, you can divide by 8,
One eight.
or you can multiply by 1/8.
You're smart.
We are smart.
Here's where similarity ends. How are these two constants of proportionality related to each other?
They use 8.
They're reciprocal.
They're reciprocal.
Reciprocals.
So if you switch the order of them,
Right.
you're just using the reciprocal.
Really thinking about that constant proportionality
Okay.
thing.
Now how do you feel about that? Do you feel like you can do the constant of proportionality and the proportional relationship? Okay. No? Okay. Okay. So put a star by here and say, ask questions, need help. Okay? If you are feeling like, oh, I still don't understand this, put a little note to yourself, oh, I have questions, I need help, that kind of thing. We're going to do the next one.
Right, today we're going to
How many of you feel like this is helpful?
When you pause it a whole bunch of times, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what, yeah. I'm pausing it to kind of show how you would do this on your own.
All you're recommending are that.
All I'm recommending is what?
All your like more videos are that.
Oh, imagine. Wow. Never mind how that happens. Okay, so you might want to draw a line. Somehow indicate we're going to do Unit 2, Lesson 4. Wait a minute, that was Lesson 7?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that's okay. We can just all.
Where's 6 and 5?
Yeah, it's there. We must be doing it next. I just pulled it up from the thing. Since you technically should have seen this or done it or have some information about it somewhere in your heads, I feel pretty comfortable doing
Somewhere
it.
back there.
Somewhere in there. Okay, so we're going to do Unit 2, Lesson 4.
to be focused on proportional relationships, really looking at their equations. For goals, I can write the constant of proportionality as an entry in a table, and also I can write an equation of the form y equals kx to represent a proportional relationship described by a table or a store.
Okay, so we want to write the constant of proportionality as an entry in a table. That should be kind of like what, based upon what we just did. And then the second one is write an equation in that form to represent a proportional relationship. You also might be saying, what?
Geometry.
What? What'd you say?
Do we have to write all that?
No.
Okay.
Listen, when you're taking notes, you should never copy word for word. You're wasting your time and your energy and your mental and your hand, and there's just too much. So, what should we write? I can write the constant of proportionality as an entry in the table. Write constant of proportionality in the table.
Right.
Write the top documentary in the table.
I will do this. Constant of prop in a table. That's what I would write.
Really?
I'm assuming that in this situation here, you'd understand that prop is proportionality. And then
Oh, we're doing class.
Right.
Now that means we should go on a walk.
Yeah. Yeah, we should. I think we need a
My
break.
brain, we already did one lesson. My brain hurts. So I need to walk now.
let's get this copied and we'll take like a 5-minute break.
Yeah, we're fine.
Like we won't go outside because that takes so long to get everything on, but we'll just break for a minute.